What's going on, guys? Bossy6 here, back to another video, and today here to give you guys another collection update video. And this one was actually somewhat of a follow-up to the last one I did because I had a big stack, and I decided to divide them up into separate stacks. And yeah, this is basically the follow-up to that one. And this is one of probably 4 videos I'm going to be recording because I said it during my NFL predictions. Tomorrow, which is going to be Sunday, I'm going to be going to work, and I participated in working a play there, so that way I can make a little extra bit of money. So there's that, as my dog is barking at basically nobody. So yeah, this is one of 4 videos I'm going to be recording. The other ones are probably going to be album reviews, because there's a lot of albums to review this week here, guys. So yeah, I wanted to knock this one out. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the CDs. And also, I have some stuff I'm going to show you guys at the very end of this video as well. And also, Motorhead. Why? Because why not? Anyways, starting off with a pair of albums I have from the same band. They are High on Fire. And the first one I have is their debut album from 2000, The Art of Self-Defense. And then 18 years later, 2018's Electric Messiah. So yeah, this is their debut album. This is a 2023 reissued I have. This is not the original album artwork, which I kind of like this album artwork personally. I think this actually looks really cool. Yeah, this is the band starting out, and yeah, kind of, I wouldn't say small beginnings for this band. Like, they obviously got their sound pretty much from the get-go. Like, this is still more stoner sludge in a way. Like, there's some like more moments of like I Hate God on this album. They really want to get in the speed factor until later on in their career, but this is still a pretty good debut album if you ask me. The songs themselves are like really nothing to really sneeze at per se. They're nothing that's like very innovative, but they're fun. They're riffy as hell. Baghdad, 10,000 Years, Blood from Zion, Fireface is pretty fun. But Master of Fist, which is over 11 minutes, that is nothing but a riff fest, which is absolutely great. I will say, though, this does sound like a Black Label Society album that never got released. Even though I think this is better than any BLS album. That's just my opinion. Yeah, you could tell that Matt Pike was very Zakk Wylde-ish on this album. Like, he sounds exactly like Zakk. It's almost jarring to a point. But yeah, this is just a very fun album to listen to. Just nothing but riffs. You know, pretty solid vocals. I think Matt Pike will get better as the years would go on. But yeah, good stuff. Not much more really needs to be said. And then with Electric Messiah that came out in 2018, this is where the band is just firing on all cylinders. And just another fantastic album here. I mean, this is more kind of the more stoner side of things, but you still get some more, the speed metal is still in the mix as well. But Spew from the Earth, Steps of the Ziggurat, I think that's how you say that word, / House of Enlil. I don't know how you say that. The title track, Sanctionize Annihilation, The Pallid Mask, God of the Godless, The Witch and the Christ, Drowning Dog. This is just some fantastic stuff for here. The album cover looks awesome as well. Yeah, just some very damn good, riffy, stoner, sludge speed metal. Yeah, don't really have a whole lot to say about this one, other than check these bad boys out. This is just some fantastic stuff. Absolutely killer stuff by both of these albums. I think both these albums are really damn good. I like this one a little bit more because this one was more of the humble beginnings, but both of these albums kick so much ass, and I would say recommended. Alright, now follow that pair up with another pair of albums, and I have Incantation. I have their 1994 album, which is Mortal Throne of Nazarene, and 1998's Diabolical Conquest. So this is more so the follow-up to Onward to Golgotha, which was more so a death metal album with a little bit of doom thrown in there. This one has more the same in a way. The production is a lot more cavernous, but I don't think it's quite as strong as Onward to Golgotha. And while I do like this album, this one might be one of the weaker Incantation albums I have listened to. It's not to say it's a bad album. I still think this is really, really, really damn good. It's just the problem is that it's just not as strong as Onward to Golgotha, and what had to follow in the follow up. It's kind of tough. It's kind of like a rock in a hard place, but there's still some great songs, and the album artwork is kind of weird. What's up with the teeth? Like, that guy or girl clearly has a cavity right there. I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know what's the thing with teeth. I don't get it. But Demonic Incarnate's really good. Iconoclasm of Catholicism is pretty fun. Essence Ablaze. The Ibex Moon. Oh, that's such a gross song. Shout out to the song Blissful Blood Shower. That's just chaotic. But the final track, which is the longest track, Abolishment of Immaculate Serenity. Beefy. Yeah, still really damn good. Again, I don't think the songwriting is quite as strong as Onward to Golgotha, but I do think this is still a more than worthy follow-up to Onward to Golgotha. But it is unfortunately stuck in between, not between the debut, but also Diabolical Conquest, which I'm going to say right here, right now, out of all the Incantation albums I have listened to so far, this one is by far the best one. This is fucking gross, for lack of a better word. Like, the production and the vocals on this album are just oozing with just cavernous and stickiness, and I love all of it. Like, I love damn near every track on this album. Impending Diabolical Conquest, Desecration of the Holy Graceful, Disciples of Blasphemous Reprisal, Unheavenly Skies is just absolutely fantastic. United in Repugnance is fantastic. Shouts to the Ancient Empire, Ethereal Misery, but the epic closer of Into Infinite... I fucked that one up. Into Infinite Twilight, Majesty of Eternal Damnation, which is a killer song. Yeah, this one is just fucking amazing. I don't know what this album cover is supposed to be, which, take a shot for every time I say that when it comes to Incantation, but yeah, these two are a really damn good pair. Obviously, this one's the better one in my opinion, but this one's still really good too. But this one is great. The only one I do have like a minor nitpick for, it's very, very, very minor. Sometimes the production can kind of vary. Like, it'll sound good at one song, and then the other one it'll sound a little more raw, but it does give that nice kind of disgusting vibe for it, which I think is really, really, really cool. So yeah, this one's a fucking banger. This one is too. Check out both these albums. These are absolutely killer stuff. Absolutely recommended. Alright, next one I have is a heavy metal classic, Iron Maiden with Peace of Mind. This is the fourth studio album from these heavy metal legends, heavy metal icons, obviously one of the biggest heavy metal bands of all time. And, yeah, I ranked this pretty high. I think I had this ranked number 4 when I did my Maiden ranking a couple of years ago. And I still state this. I think this is way better than Number of the Beast, in my opinion. But, again, it's my opinion, and, well, it's my opinion. But anyways, yeah, this is, picking up where they left off, essentially. This is what I felt like the proper follow-up to Killer should have been. Like, I felt like this was Bruce's album. Like, again, I felt like, with Number of the Beast, I felt like it was a Paul Di'Anno album without Paul Di'Anno on vocals, and it just didn't work for me. This one, I feel like, was the full transition album, and this was actually the first one to feature the longtime drummer of Nico McBrain, and he does a solid job. I always felt like Nico was always just a solid drummer, but nothing too spectacular. Like, the next two albums, I think, will be some of his best performances. This one, it just kind of feels a little bit standard for my liking. But, yeah, this was just some damn good stuff. I love the songwriting on this album. Where Eagles Dare is a fucking classic of an opening track. Revelations is pretty fun. Flight of Icarus is one of my all-time favorites. Down With Your Boots On is a little repetitive, but I think it's catchy. The Trooper, obviously, is one of the greatest Iron Maiden songs of all time. Sun and Steel is fantastic. I love that song. And The Tame of Land is a pretty underrated closing track. Sorry, I had to look at my computer for something. But, yeah, this is absolutely great. This is the 2015 reissue or remastered I have here, which I think all their albums are actually getting reissued. But, yeah, this is a fucking classic. If you guys have not listened to this album, I don't know what to really say other than you're missing out on some damn good stuff. But, yeah, this is really, really, really good. And I give this one a big recommendation. Alright, the next one I have is Massacre from Beyond. This is the debut album from this Florida-based death metal act. This obviously is basically, well, the Leprosy and the Spiritual Healing lineup, except without Chuck on vocals. It's with Kim Ross, or not Kim Ross, Kim Lee on vocals, who actually was in Death for a little bit before he eventually formed Massacre. And out of all the albums I've heard from this band, this one is one of the ones I really need to dive into. Afterwards, it's very fucking spotty. Do I really need to talk about Promise? Not really. But we're not talking about Promise. We're talking about this album, which is a fucking classic. This is one of the most essential death metal albums to come out of Florida at that point. Yeah, this is absolutely great, and this is actually a 2018 Earache remaster that I have here. This actually features bonus tracks that would actually be taken from the Human Condition EP, which I think is pretty cool here. But yeah, this is by far the best sound these guys have ever had, and it's not even a contest. Dawn of Eternity, Cryptic Remains, Biohazard's pretty unique. The title track, Defeat Remains, Succubus, Corpse Grinder. Gee, I wonder where George Fisher got that name from. Yeah, this is just some killer stuff right here. Like, Kim Lee's vocals are just fantastic on this album. I really love kind of the more thrashy bit that this album is going for, which I think is really, really, really nice. And, yeah, they never made an album as good as this, in my opinion. Like, the other ones they made, except for Promise, were just okay at best. But, yeah, I don't really need to say too much about this album that a lot of people haven't said already, but yeah, it's a death metal classic. You like it. I like it. Let's move on. Alright, speaking of Florida death metal legends, I have Morbid Angel with Gateways of Annihilation, or Gateways to Annihilation. It's Gateways to Annihilation. Keep thinking it's to or of, but anyways, this is the, I want to say the 6th studio album from these guys. I believe so. Yes, it is. Excuse me. Yeah, this is the 6th studio album from these Florida death metal legends. I ranked this pretty high on my ranking when I did my Morbid Angel ranking. I believe I ranked this number 3 because I fucking love this album. This album, I think from the Steve Tucker era, is by far the best. I love Formula's Fatal to the Flesh, but that album is a little bit uneven at points. And while that is the heaviest album, this one I think is a better album because it's a lot more structured. I think the production is a lot more heavier on this album. Like, there's just something about the sound that has this big lumbering groove that it has going for it, and it's absolutely great. And all these songs, I think, are fucking fantastic. Like, the weird opening track with Kawazu, which, like, is Japanese for frog, I think, wears these weird, like, frogs humming or some shit like that. I don't really know, but then they get into Summon and Redemption, which is one of their best songs. Ageless, Still I Am. He Who Sleeps is just fucking bizarre. To the Victor Despoils, that One With Nothing. I love Opening of the Gates. Secure Limitations is a pretty underrated track. Has a bit of a Blackened feel in that song in particular with Trey's vocals. That's a fantastic song. Like, this is just killer stuff. Like, the only thing I really had to complain is that the production sounds a little compressed at points, like a little industrialized. But then again, this came out at a weird point. Like, this was 2000. Like, they were coming out of the, like, the new metal and, like, the grunge and the groove metal stuff. Like, this was at a weird period where metal was coming out of the 90s. So I can understand why some productions were a little bit wonky around this time, but this is still a really damn good album. I fucking love this album. I Really, really, really dig it. And this is one of the last great Morbid Angel album they would ever release, because afterwards they unfortunately would have a fall from grace. Pun unattended. But yeah, no, this album is fucking fantastic. Love this album. Check this out. You're doing yourself an injustice for not listening to this. Recommend it. Alright, next one I have is Nile, Annihilation of the Wicked. This is the this is the fourth studio album from these South Carolina technical brutal death metal act. More so technical, because like earlier they were in their more brutal death metal area with like At the Catacombs of Neferkon, a little bit of Black Seeds of Vengeance, but this is where the technicality really got up in the mix, and this is without a doubt their best album in my opinion. Like, I know some people say Underdark and Trance. I think this one's better in my opinion, because when I ranked Nile, I think like 2 years ago, this was my favorite, and it's not really hard to see why, because this essentially is the greatest hits of Nile, if you ask me. Like, all these songs, I think, kick so much ass. I love the production on this album. This is an original copy, too, by the way. And, yeah, from top to bottom, I think this is just fucking perfection. Like, I love the production. The vocals are great. This might be Dallas Toler Wade's best vocal performance. It's one of Carl's best as well, and the riffs on this album are just fantastic. George Colias just fucking kills on drums, as he always does. Dusk falls upon the Temple of the Serpent on the Mount of Sunrise. Awesome. But Cast Down the Heretics, a classic. Sacrifice into Sabak. Uzer Mot Ri. That's a fun song. The Burning Pits, a duet. Chapter of Abscience before giving breath to the Inherent One and the presence of the crescent-shaped horns. That's an actual song title, by the way. Leave it to Nile with some of the best song titles in the history of mankind. Lash to the Slave Stick is my favorite Nile song. How the hell you say that? Spawn of Humanati? I don't know how you say that word. The title track, but of course the classic ending track. Von on Von on Osprekeleken. Fuck it, why not? We'll go with that one. Yeah, no, this is just fantastic stuff. It's one of the best death metal albums to come out of the 2000s, if you ask me. And yeah, this is killer stuff. And also Snick. Look, it's got Snick. Snick with wings? I don't know what's going on there, but who will I say? It's awesome. It's awesome. Nile is awesome. Not much more needs to be said. Killer stuff from these guys. Alright, so I have yet another pair of albums. This one I'm actually going to be ranking next year, and it's going to be my first ever solo act I'm going to be ranking, but we just lost him about a couple months ago, and the wound is still theoretically fresh in our minds, but I got Ozzy. And actually, these are the last two albums I actually really need from him. Of course, I have 1986's Ultimate Sin, which this is the 1995 reissue that I have here. I won't give away too much on this album, because I'll save my full thoughts for when I rank him next year. So, yeah, be able to look out for that. But this one might be up in my top 5. I fucking love Ultimate Sin. I've always loved this album. This album kind of gets disowned by Ozzy fans for some weird reason, because this is, oh, well, he went glam and hair metal. How dare he? Folks, a lot of people were doing that. That was the thing at the time. Fucking Judas Priest did it, for God's sakes. But, yeah, I think this album is absolutely fantastic. Like, the title track and especially Shot in the Dark are absolute classics. Of course, Thank God for the Bombs, also a pretty fun song. But, yeah, this is, be on the lookout, because I'll be praising the shit out of this album, because I've always loved this album in particular. Which I unfortunately cannot say about his last album, Patient Number 9, that came out in 2022. I'm not going to speak ill of the dead here because I feel like if I criticize him, I feel like people are going to give me shit for it. But this was not a good way to end a career. I'm sorry, but I just did not dig the album. I wasn't a fan of Ordinary Man 2. Like, there was a couple songs I didn't mind, but as an album, it never did anything for me. So yeah, it's a shame too that this was his last, because this one just doesn't do a lot. Like, there was a lot of guest stars on this album. Like, Zach was all over this album. Iommi was on this album. Mike McCready, Jeff Beck was on this album. Eric Clapton showed up for it, for God's sake. And I believe Taylor Hawkins, I believe, drummed on this album. I think this was produced. He managed to do this right before he passed, but the album came out, I think, a couple months after he unfortunately passed away. But yeah, I just didn't dig it. It just felt like another Ozzy album during this time period, and by this point, he really didn't need to make any albums. So unfortunately, I just wasn't a fan of this album. Like, I guess the song Nothing Feels Right kind of hits a little bit differently now. Yeah, it's just nothing really did anything. Dead and Gone. That has a lot more meaning now. A lot of Ozzy's, like, ballads and, like, lyrical content has a lot more meaning now. So, yeah, this one... this one was just not for me. I didn't really dig it. But this one, I did dig. This one, not so much. You'll find out in my rankings, but feel free to check them both out. But, yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 on both of those pairings right there. Alright, so kind of get out of a little bit of the sad stage a little bit. Next up I have is Power Trip with Nightmare Logic. This, I think, is the second studio album from these guys. Yes, this is the second studio album. And so far, this is their current album that they did back in 2017. This is a crossover thrash act from Texas. And it's unfortunate, like, this is so far this is the second and current album that these guys have made so far, because, well, unfortunately, their frontman, Riley Gale, unfortunately committed suicide back in 2020. I think was that around the same time that Trevor from Black Dahlia Murder passed? I'm actually trying to remember. I can't fully remember. I know that 2020 was a pretty fucked up year for a lot of people, myself included, but... yeah, this is the second album for these guys, and funnily enough, I actually found out about these guys when their first single, Executioner's Tax / Swing of the Axe, was actually the theme song for NXT War Games 2017, which is perfectly fit for that event in particular. But yeah, this is just some fucking great stuff right here. This is one of the best crossover thrash albums I've listened to in a long time. And, yeah, it's just great stuff. Soul Sacrifice, of course, the aforementioned Executioner's Tax, Firebrand Squad, the title track, Ruination, Waiting Around to Die, Crucifixion. Absolutely great stuff. I love the more kind of like, it's more mid-tempo, more than like straight up thrash, but it really does have like those nice kind of mid-tempo groovers that I absolutely adore. So yeah, this is fucking awesome if you ask me. I finally came around to this album, and I'm finally glad I got it. So yeah, great stuff. Absolutely recommended. Alright, next one I have is going to be for a future Blast from the Past review. And of course, we're talking about Repulsion with Horrified. This is the lone studio album from this Flint, Michigan grindcore act, I should say. It's technically the first grindcore album produced, but it wasn't actually released. Obviously, Napalm Death Scum came out before this album, but this album was produced a little bit before Scum came out. And this is actually a 2-disc here. I believe, let's see, yeah, this is a 2-disc. Hopefully that didn't get fucked up. Uh-oh. Hold on. Okay, no, that's just how it is. Okay, I thought I got fucked up there for a second. But, yeah, the disc 2 was just rarities, which I think is pretty cool. That was when they were known as Genocide, and this was a rehearsal demo. But, yeah, I mean, just think of, like, bands that are named after tracks off of this album. Again, I will be doing a retro review of this soon. I'm probably going to be doing it next year because there are some other albums I want to get to next year. But, yeah, this is just some, this is some great stuff. Of course, you know, bands that are named after tracks like Acid Bath, you know, let's see, of course, 6 Feet Under, obviously Repulsion, Black Breath, I believe, is a band. Yeah, this is just some pretty cool stuff right here, and that album cover is pretty legendary for you extreme metal aficionados. So yeah, be on the lookout for those I'm losing my train of thought here for that retro review. I'll be doing it next year, but be on the lookout for it regardless. Alrighty, next one I have, let me just go over to the tab looking for more information. I have Spirit World with Death Western. This is I believe the second album. Yeah, the second studio album from this Las Vegas crossover thrash kind of death metal-like act. Yeah, I did go over this band's last album in a collection update with Hell Dorado, which that was really, really, really damn good. This one I think is just a hair bit better in my opinion, because this is more, just more straight up like crossover thrash. Because while the last one was a little more experimental because they were originally a country act before they eventually went to this like crossover, like death metal, like death thrash kind of thing that they're doing now. This is also really damn good stuff right here, and this is basically the ultimate soundtrack to Yellowstone, if you ask me, and that album cover looks glorious as well. But Mojave Bloodlust, which kind of has a little bit of a country acoustic guitar to it, which I think is cool. But the title track, Relic of Damnation, Ulcer, Community of Buzzards, The Heretic Butcher, Crucified Heathen Scum, and 10,000 Deaths. Yeah, this is just some fucking killer stuff right here, man. Yeah, I don't really have a lot more to say about this other than, yeah, this is just some killer stuff right here. Not much more needs to be said. Again, the ultimate metal soundtrack to Yellowstone. So, yeah, you can thank this band for that. Absolutely killer stuff. Recommended. Alright, next one, and which is the penultimate CD I have on my collection update here, is Unholy with From the Shadows. This is a 2 CD ordeal, but this is the debut album from this Finnish, oh god, I don't even know how to describe this band. Avant-garde doom metal, death doom act. I don't know how the hell you characterize this band, but these guys are fucking weird in kind of a good way. Like it's so obscure and bizarre and it's weird. I don't know how to fully think about it here, but yeah, this is a 2 CD here. This is a 2023 reissue. The second CD is their pre-demos, The Holy Hell. It was originally titled Kill Jesus, but yeah, I'm curious to see how this one's gonna be, because I've heard some songs from these guys, and I don't fully know how to fully grasp about it, per se, but they've only released 4 studio albums, which I think is enough to warrant a retro review, because the last one came out in '99, and they've had 2 albums since then after that. But yeah, this is interesting stuff here, I guess. I'm I don't really know how to feel about this band because I'm a little intrigued to hear those other albums because I've heard a little bit of this, and yeah, it's just weird. It's weird, and I kind of like it. So yeah, be on the lookout for this one. I don't know what that's supposed to. Is that dude holding a fish? I don't know, or a human. I don't even know what the hell the album cover is supposed to represent, but here we are. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting retro review to do. So yeah, help me with that. And then finally, the last CD I have here is Vader with the Ultimate Incantation. This is a 2025 Eric reissue that came out originally in, I believe, was it 1992? I think it just came out in 92 with this album. And, I mean, I do have some Vader in my collection, but I haven't fully listened to the albums that I actually did bought initially. So I was kind of happy to buy this just off a whim at my record store. But yeah, this is some pretty good stuff. I mean, it's nothing too like original. There's nothing that's gonna be like, oh my god, you got to go out of your way to listen to this. It's just some solid death metal with some like very thrashy bits thrown in there, which I really do like. Dark Age, Vicious Circle, The Crucified Ones, Final Massacre, Reign Carry On, Chaos, Death. Demons Win, Decapitate Saints, Breath of Creations, like this, or Breath of Centuries. Yeah, this is just some solid stuff all around. They get better. I'd say they get better after this one. But yeah, this is just some damn good stuff right here. And yeah, listen to Vader if you haven't already. And if you haven't, then I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, this is really fun stuff right here. Check this one out. Now the CDs are out of the way, I want to show two shirts that I actually bought off of Amazon. And ironically enough, one of them was just a band that I actually just got done doing a ranking for. I got myself a Cannibal Corpse shirt, even though it's cold as hell outside because, well, I'm a smart individual. This is I think the label or the design of it, or like the thing said it was like a rotting coffin. I think that looks really cool, actually. I actually really dig that, per se. Nothing on the back, obviously, aside from whatever the hell that is. But, yeah, that's actually really cool right there. And then finally, the last shirt I have here for you guys is a band I'm actually doing my ranking for. And, of course, is Mayhem. So, yeah, be on the lookout for my Mayhem ranking that shouldn't take too long. It's just that the backstory behind that band is just fucking bizarre. But yeah, that should be a fun one to do. So folks, that concludes this CD collection update video. Again, this is one of probably 4 videos I'm going to be recording, so be on the lookout for the other ones for when they eventually get released. So yeah, what did you guys think about these CDs? Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys leave a like, leave a comment, tap that big subscribe button, and tap the bell so when I upload, you guys will be notified. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Most importantly, join the herd. Talk to you guys next video. Peace out.